have with us Eylon Levy, former international media advisor to the President of Israel. Thanks very much, Eylon, for joining us. Give us your sense on the kind of help and how the attack by Hamas terrorists on Israel is being viewed the world over. We know there's been a collective statement that's come in from Italy, France, Germany, and United Kingdom that they stand with Israel. But there's a lot of conflicting thoughts behind this, some of them justifying that Palestinians have been fighting for free Palestine for over 5 decades. It's been unprecedented attacks from Israel on areas of Palestine and, of course, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And this is in retaliation.
Let's talk about what is unprecedented. On Saturday morning, Hamas launched an invasion of Israel that went door to door, murdering babies, abducting grandmothers, massacring everyone in their sleep and anyone they found in the street. In absolute terms, the current death toll from Hamas's slaughter on Saturday morning is the equivalent of 5 Mumbai massacres, and the death toll is counting. That's not adjusted for population. That is in absolute terms. We are burying 5 times as many people who were murdered in the Mumbai massacre. What Israel suffered on Saturday was one of the deadliest terror attacks in world history and the single biggest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. Israel is a country in trauma. It's a country in agony. It's a country in pain. And one thing that gives us consolation is actually the outpouring of support that Israel has received from the international community, which understands that Hamas is not only a terror organization, it is an enemy of humanity. That joint statement from the UK, the US, France, Italy, and Germany is very important. They're pledging to support Israel in its efforts for self-defense, as Israel now understands that it can't go into another round in the Gaza Strip to try to deter Hamas and buy more time until the next inevitable round. The time is now to destroy Hamas as a military and governing body inside the Gaza Strip, because Israel cannot continue to exist with the reality in which an ISIS-style organization with cruelty meeting, if not exceeding the cruelty that we saw from other jihadist organizations, controls a strip of territory a 1-hour drive away from Tel Aviv and has massacred approaching 1,000 people in the current death toll, with over 100 Israelis believed to be held hostage inside the Gaza Strip.
Right. And Eylon, since you spoke of the hostages, that's precisely a point where Hamas terrorists are now trying to use to negotiate with Israel. Do you believe that this is going to be a tough task to ensure that your civilians are saved right at a time counter Hamas terrorists? How does Israel plan to do that in your view, to ensure safety of those hostages?
At the moment, it's not clear what Hamas intends to do with those hostages. Are they really bargaining chips that Hamas is willing to release in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, terrorists inside Israeli jails? Or does it intend to massacre them in ISIS-style execution videos? We do not know what they are planning to do to, let me remind your viewers, children, grandmothers, women aged over the age of 85 whose grandchildren are begging for help because their grandmothers take medication and they're now bound and gagged inside a tunnel somewhere inside the Gaza Strip. It's very difficult to see how we are going to get our civilian hostages back alive, our friends, our families, our grandmothers, our babies, our brothers and sisters. And if I have one appeal to the international community, it's to use every available lever of pressure to demand the immediate and unconditional release of the Israeli hostages inside the Gaza Strip. This is a situation that is inconceivable, indescribable, and completely intolerable.
Right, Eylon, we heard a video that was released by the Hamas terrorists claiming that if you don't stop bombarding Gaza's civilian settlements, there are, in fact, rockets being hurled, we believe, as per reports coming in, on residential areas of Gaza as well. And they claim that if you don't stop bombarding Gaza, we're going to execute those hostages live on television. Has this deterred Israel from carrying on this onslaught?
Hamas is a brutal, cruel, barbaric, sadistic, jihadist organization, the sort the world has experienced before in the form of ISIS, and now Israel is coming up against the same thing, the same desire to use spectacular violence in order to rally support among their own depraved supporters. And they're not afraid to use that violence. Now, Israel has to tread very carefully, but at the same time, Israel is committed now to destroying Hamas's governing capabilities inside the Gaza Strip in order to deny them the ability to do the exact same thing. And everyone has to be very clear about who is responsible for the current situation, and that is the jihadist organization known as Hamas inside the Gaza Strip and their puppet masters in Iran, who have been funding Hamas to the tune of tens of millions of dollars every month, and who also bear responsibility for the terrible, terrible atrocity and massacre of innocents.
Right. On a final note, we hear that nearly 360,000, 300,000 odd reserve forces have been asked to join in this fight against Hamas. Do you have enough in your military arsenal?
Israel is calling up the biggest call-up of reserves in its history. I'm in Tel Aviv now, and I can tell you the city is an absolute ghost town because so many people have been called up. All the civilians who are still here are urgently committing to the war effort in order to raise supplies and money and food and clothes for the soldiers on the front. The IDF says we have enough supplies, we have everything we need, but there's no doubt that this is going to be a very serious challenge ahead for Israel, especially if this situation escalates into a war on multiple fronts. We're seeing several exchanges and skirmishes on the northern border of Israel with Hezbollah in Lebanon. And the concern at the moment is that Hezbollah will think that Israel is too weak and attack from the direction of Lebanon as well, forcing Israel to defend itself from the north and from the south, which will be a very dangerous situation, not only inside Israel, but also inside Lebanon when Israel is forced to react with extreme force in order to stop the assault of potentially thousands of rockets falling on the Israeli home front every day.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
India's #1 political reporter
defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.